All right. Good evening, everyone. Could someone just give me a thumbs up that you can hear us okay? All right, a whole bunch of thumbs up. Wonderful. Well, welcome back. This is, again, the Board of Education meeting for Monday, November 9, 2020. Board of Ed has been in closed session since 6:30. Charlie, if you can call the roll.
Mr. Cook,
Here.
Mr. Roby,
Here.
Mr. Smith,
Here.
Mr. Westfall,
Present.
Mr. Kerber.
Here, we have a quorum. If you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all very much. All right. Communications, Tom, just what
Yes, sir, just what you have.
covered.
Just what you have.
Thank you, sir. 3.02, President's comments. Veterans Day is coming up. So under normal circumstances, most of our schools during this week mark Veterans Day with special ceremonies, programs, and guest speakers to honor our military veterans and community safety and service personnel. The board and I typically visit many of these programs as possible and always leave very proud of our teachers, schools, and students. Unfortunately, this is one more thing the pandemic has taken from us this year. However, we strongly encourage and support our teachers sharing information about Veterans Day with their students as part of remote learning so that they understand the value of their freedom. And just want to give one last plug to the community to complete the survey for the strategic plan that is available on the district website until 5 p.m. this Wednesday, November 11th. Again, we value getting this information as part of the data collection for the next strategic plan. As we have announced, and Tom has done a good job of this, thank you, sir. We have put a pause on the next step with the strategic plan at this point in time. We were to have conducted community meetings coming up, but we, due to the pandemic again, have paused those at this point in time, and we'll consider the next steps with this, as we feel it is safe and conducive to do that going forward in the future. So those are the only comments I have. 4.01, any board salutes this evening? Nothing? All right. We have no special welcomes or recognitions. So 5.01, public comment. So again, public comments, as always, since we have been in this pandemic environment, can be submitted in writing to the meeting by sending an email to Tom Hernandez no later than 5 p.m. on the Monday of the Board of Education meeting. And so for tonight's meeting, we received 34 emails specifically for public comment tied to this meeting. As we have been doing recently, we will continue to do. These will all be posted as part of the packet for the meeting, so the entire community will have access to the email public comments that came in. The Board of Education, of course, as always, receives and has received all of these and reads them and values the input of the community. So again, we received 34 tonight. Generally speaking, there were 31 that were referencing an interest in returning to in-person learning, and 3 that were supporting the continuation of the current status with remote learning. So again, those will be posted as part of the packet for this board meeting on the district website for the community's review. Item 6.01 is the consent agenda. We just have one item this evening, and it is the approval of the certified and non-certified personnel agendas, both as presented. Make a motion? Motion. Bob's motion. Second?
Second.
Mike second. Charlie?
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Westfall,
Yes.
Mr. Cook,
Yes.
Mr. Roby,
Yes.
Mr. Kerber.
Yes. Item passes. Thank you. Moving on down to item 9.01, authorization for approval authority to the superintendent for candidate recommendations through the January 11th, 2021 Board of Education meeting. Administrator recommendations will continue to be approved by the Board of Education. This is again something that we have typically always done during the summer time, just to allow for new hires that are processed to be able to effectively be processed during the period with the holidays and the time in between board meetings, wanting to make sure that we do not cause any employee to not be able to have all of their access set up and everything to be processed through for the new hire. So again, it's something that we decided to begin doing during this period between first and second semester, but again, consistent with what we've been doing historically for the late summer period as well. So. Any questions about that from anyone? Good with that? All right, can I get a motion?
Motion.
Rod? Second? Second. Bob? Charlie?
Mr. Westfall,
Yes.
Mr. Cook,
Yes.
Mr. Roby,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Kerberg.
Yes. Item passes. Moving on down to item 10 for information. 10.01 is update on the Return 20 plan. And with that, I will turn it over to Dr. Abril and the team.
Thank you, Mr. Kerberg. This has again become what is a standing agenda item in our board agenda and meetings, an update on the Return 20 plan. This is a pretty much template of the slides that we have used in presentation in the past. We continue to update the slides and the information contained on it, in addition to giving that out or presenting that to the public, also in the weekly update to the Board of Education. So with that being said, Dr. Wood, would you please advance to the next slide? And these are the metrics that the district has been using to assist. And again, I want to underscore assist with decisions made regarding students returning to in-person instruction, whether that's on a hybrid model and platform or some other method of in-person instruction or schedule. First, you can see the COVID-19 risk metrics in the county and our region. Will County is part of Region 7, which is Will County and Kankakee County. However, the student population of District 202 is made up from students in Will County and a small section of Kendall County. Currently, we are stopped on red and can't proceed any further due to, at least in that area, of the data points. Not only are they not flat and not trending down, they are increasing and increasing rapidly. Secondly, our cleaning and disinfecting supplies, that we have enough on hand. They're able to be refilled in a timely manner. And our suppliers have given us those assurances that they can meet those deadlines. Things are well or relatively well with the supply chain. And we have those types of things at levels that can carry us for more than a 2-week period. Third metric would be the PPE supplies, such as masks and materials or plexiglass or plastic dividers, things of that nature. We've been advised by our suppliers that that's really yellow. Do we have what we need for now? Yes. Can it become a problem as time goes on? Or if the supply chain is disrupted? Yes, it can. That can become a big issue. That's why the yellow indicator or yellow light for that. Fourthly, our substitute pool is at red. We are down from subs from last year. At this same time, or in a normal school year, we're down significantly. And that's one of the things that if the public would be able to help us, we would put out a plea for folks to strongly consider signing up to be a substitute teacher or a substitute paraprofessional. So when we do get back to in-person learning, we have a beefed up substitute pool to be able to continue or have in-person instruction for the students who are able or are willing, or their parents or have them willing to have them to return. And then lastly, indicator number 5, consistent guidance from Illinois Department of Public Health, State Board of Education, CDC, and our county health departments. Again, that is yellow. It does seem to change. And again, they tell us all the time that COVID is very fluid, the situation is very fluid, and certainly we can see its fluidity in the increase and the rapid increase of cases over the past 3 or so weeks. Thank you, Dr. Wood. The next page is a chart which graphically illustrates what has happened from the time that we announced our timelines, or that the Board of Education endorsed returning students in person. And a large spike throughout the United States, throughout the state of Illinois, throughout our region and our individual county has caused us great concern and great alarm. Those statistics, as you can see, are from the Illinois Department of Public Health, and they are all available for the public to see. Next slide, Dr. Wood, would be 4 metrics that Will County puts out, or the counties put out, to help guide schools in addition to the own metrics that a school district may have. All 4 of those we are in the red for, and that, according to the County Health Department and IDPH, is cause for substantial concern, and in fact is advice to schools to strongly consider pivoting to remote learning if they have been in person, or to strongly consider staying in remote learning. You can see all of those, the positivity rate, the new cases per 100,000. Just to go over and compare to you where we were 2 weeks ago, that 13.1% test positivity rate was 8.9% 2 weeks ago. New cases per 100,000, currently at 332 cases per 100,000. 2 weeks ago was at 179,000. The new cases of 2,301 2 weeks ago, currently, compared to 2 weeks ago, was at 1,240. And very concerning is the youth cases that have risen from 2 weeks ago at 182 to 350. So taking that into consideration, along with the next page or slide, which has raw numbers on positivity tests, the total number tested, the daily positivity rate, and then the 7-day rolling average, are causing great concern amongst us as school officials, and cast in doubt the ability to continue with the current group that we have in session, and also bringing other groups of students on board. The last slide has information about the adapted pause, which we endorsed or took on the last time. Based upon the data that we have available to us at this point in time and our rising number of cases, not only amongst students, but also amongst staff, we are recommending administratively to continue pausing on bringing any other further groups on board for in-person attendance, and also taking into account the next couple of days for the metrics for these students that we do have in session. I would advise that unless those numbers change for the better, that we may be looking at some changes for the groups that have been able to attend in person, our high needs special education students. I would advise that parents make contingency plans, because the numbers clearly are just going in a wrong direction. Again, it is a community health issue at this point, and the numbers are becoming so overwhelming that it truly, that has to take precedence, that community health part of things. So that would be the current status of the Return 20 plan. We're going to remain on pause for bringing other groups of students on board. And we're going to study over the next couple of days seriously and dig deep, very deep into the metrics to be able to continue the group that we do have. So with that, I would open it up for either board member comments or questions, or anybody from the rest of our district level administrative team, Mrs. Griffith out of Student Services, or Dr. Wood out of Curriculum and Instruction, or Mrs. Orlos out of Administration and Personnel.
Thank you, Dr. Averill. Appreciate the update, even though, again, certainly not good news. We're being inundated with that news daily, it seems like, and certainly, again, our priority has to be the community health and safety as one key tenet in all of our decision-making with this. Anyone else in the administrative team have anything else that they want to share with us? Any board members have any questions or comments that they would like to pose to the administration?
Thank you, Mr. Kerberg. One other piece of information that I should update the board and the public on is the topic of high school basketball, and I can continue with that if that's all right, Mr. Kerberg.
Yep, absolutely.
As many of you are aware of, within the past week or so, there's been a lot of back and forth between the governor, Department of Public Health, and then also the Illinois High School Association about the status of high school basketball for boys and girls. And the IHSA gave school districts the clearance to begin normal practices on November 16th. However, the governor and IDPH have strongly advised against that. And the governor, in fact, has said that the high school basketball season is not canceled. It is merely delayed and looks like is delayed until the spring. And based upon the directives from IDPH, the governor, State Board of Education, and also advice of our legal counsel, we will not be participating in a season starting November 16th. We will look for a delayed start of a season if that's an option, or a delayed start until the spring for our student athletes to participate. There's no question about it. The confusion, the inconsistency of, at the beginning of the year, high school basketball not being classified as a high-risk sport, and now very recently being placed into the high-risk category of athletics is frustrating. And I continue, our athletic directors and coaches continue to express our opinions through proper channels, whether that's through the IHSA, through the governor's office, through the Athletic Directors Association, or myself through the superintendent's organization. Nonetheless, the directives of IDPH, the governor, ISB, and advice of our legal counsel, we will be following those recommendations and delaying the start of the high school basketball season. Again, as a former coach myself and participant of interscholastic sports, and having had children who participated in interscholastic sports or activities, it's not what I want, it's not what any of us want, but it's the direction that we need to go, and we need to go for now.
Thank you, Dr. Averill. Any questions or comments from the Board of Ed on the basketball?
And Lane, there's surrounding school districts that have also taken the same approach, correct?
Correct. In fact, as a member of the Suburban Prairie Conference, we did a straw poll amongst the superintendents in schools, and the majority came out and said absolutely they were going to follow the recommendations by Department of Public Health and the governor. There were a couple who were waiting for some further direction from their boards of education, but they anticipated not participating when the season could open on November 16th. There's several other athletic conferences throughout the state who have already declared that they are not going to participate beginning on November 16th. And those things, we certainly do want a season to happen and occur, but it's just not going to happen on its traditional time starting November 16th. There have been so many, in fact, every Thanksgiving tournament that I'm aware of has been canceled or postponed, and many of the holiday tournaments at wintertime, like the Pontiac Holiday Tournament, the State Farm one in Bloomington, and other high-profile events or basketball tournaments have been delayed or outright canceled or postponed.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lane. Any other comments, questions? And just to reiterate, as I think everyone in the community is aware, but Back when we made the decision at the prior to the beginning of the school year to begin the year in remote, we targeted 6 weeks in that we would, make some decisions on beginning to ideally return kids back to in-person instruction if at all possible. We completely met that goal of having plans in place that were worked on since last spring to make that a reality. We did that in step one back on, I believe, October 26th. We brought some students back in one category, had plans in place to bring other categories of students back throughout the fall semester. And unfortunately, the positivity rates and the community spread have skyrocketed and therefore have caused us to need to put a pause, as Dr. Abel just shared. Again, in the metrics that were shown on the screen just tonight, we've more than doubled in the positivity rate just within the last couple of weeks in Will County compared to where we were when we put this adaptive pause in place. So again, we're putting a focus on community health and safety in this, and still providing education to our students. And I would ask everyone in the community to put their focus on how we can best support everyone in this time, how we can best support our teachers, our students, our administrative teams that are doing everything that they can to provide quality and exceptional education in the midst of a pandemic to the 26,000 students that we have in this district, and ask that everyone put their energies and resources to providing positive and support to that initiative and those efforts. And again, to do, as Lane has indicated previously, do everything you can as well individually to curb the spread so that we can get kids back to in-person instruction, as soon as possible. So again, let's come together as a community, support the educational process that is being delivered in this community, and focus on that collectively as we go forward. That is my plea, I guess, as Board of Education President at this point in our history, and just ask that the community please consider doing that. And not doing things that are divisive, but doing things that are unifying and supportive. So with that, is there anything else that anyone else would like to share, or any other comments or questions for the administration? All right, moving on to 13.01, Freedom of Information requests status, Dr. April.
We have received 2 Freedom of Information requests since last Board of Education meeting. One, Ken, DeLoyan, a data acquisition specialist from Smart Procure, for materials from vendors and purchase orders between July 23 and October 26 of 2020. That was received on October 26, due November 2, completed on October 28th. Secondly, a Carrie Falgren, a community member, for materials regarding legal services. This request narrows and modifies a previous request. It was received October 27, due November 4, and completed on November 2nd.
Thank you, sir. 14.01, announcements and scheduled activities.
We have remote committee meetings anticipated at 6 p.m. on Wednesday, November 18th. That is for curriculum and technology. And a date of Thursday, November 19th, for site and finance at 6 p.m. Next Board of Education meeting will be held. It is anticipated remotely on November 23rd, 6:30 for first closed session, 7:30 for second. Open session.
Thank you, sir. We will not have a second closed session this evening, so I'm looking for a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
Second, Mike. Charlie?
Mr. Cook,
Yes.
Mr. Roby,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Westfall,
Yes.
Mr. Kerber.
Yes, we are adjourned. Thank you all very much for your time, and have a wonderful evening, everyone.